All right, shalom, 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 Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatham, Israel.
As y'all can see, we got the mighty Captain Yaradan today. We're going to have a great and powerful lesson. Go ahead, Ak. You want to speak to people? Go ahead.
Khan, got a little something I want to bring out today about the nature of man. Because for us to overcome that nature, for us to overcome who we are as a people, overcome wickedness, and overcome these things, we have to acknowledge it. We have to understand it. If we can't do that, we can't move to the next level. So I have a couple of precepts, a couple of things that we're going to discuss tonight. Hopefully you'll receive the edification. And we're just gonna get right into it.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, you ready?
Yep. Where you want to start at?
We're gonna start at Jeremiah 17:9.
Jeremiah 17:9.
Yeah. Classic.
All right. If we get somebody in the chat to write describe the precepts for us so that people can get them, I appreciate that. The water to whoever does that. This is the book of. Go ahead.
Also, make sure you're taking notes. You know what I'm saying? You have your Bible, your apocrypha. You know what I'm saying? You're being attentive, and you're not playing Xbox while you're watching the show.
God. God. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitfully. Oh, my bad. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
So the heart is deceitful above all things. We bring this scripture out all the time because a lot of Christians will say, like, God know my heart. My heart's in the right place. My heart is this. My heart is that. You know what I'm saying? But we know by the scripture that the heart is deceitful. Your heart can trick you. You know what I'm saying? It's common in America for somebody to be like, follow your heart. You know what I'm saying? Your heart will lead you in the right place. But that's really not the case. You know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to trust in the Most High. You're supposed to follow His understanding and not your own.
That's right.
We're flawed people. We're flawed beings. You know what I'm saying? So you trust too much in your own heart, it can lead you down the wrong route. You start to follow pleasures. You start to follow vices. Your heart will quickly. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how we are as a people. You know what I'm saying? You can read the scripts all you want. You can, meditate. You can do whatever you want to try to get your mind right, to try to get your spirit in the right place. You know what I'm saying? But if you're following your own heart, you're still going to go down that wrong path. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing that we have to do to understand our nature. Know that we can't follow our own heart. Know that we can't follow our own vain opinions and our own vain thoughts. You know what I'm saying? We got to follow the Most High because he's not flawed like us. So, what he says is the superior ideal. You can't go wrong when you're following someone as powerful as, such a high being. You can't go wrong in that direction. So you got to put your heart aside, put your pride aside, and listen to what the Most High says, and hey, it's going to work out for you. Right?
Got a precept for what you was just saying about him being perfect. Psalms 18 and let me see where I want to start at real quick. 18 and 30. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 30. And for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him.
That's right.
As he said, the Most High is the only perfect being. The Most High is the only one who can conceptualize these things that we're dealing with and conceptualize how to create everything that's here and keep you in a path and a state that either elevates you or brings you down. It's like, that's all I use.
Okay, kind of good precept. Um, I'm gonna bring another one out real quick, just sitting on the same note. Psalms 19:7.
19:7.
All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. So, hey, it makes you wise because all you got to do is keep the law, follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, keep the faith in Yahweh. And you know what I'm saying? You don't even got to be an extra intelligent person to do that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to love the Most High. You know? Continuing on, it says, the statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandments of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. You know, so it's really simple. It's really simple. You know, you just have to uncircumcise your heart. You have to, soften your heart and just receive the things that the Most High wants you to know. You know. So the next precept is Proverbs 1:22.
Proverbs 1:22. All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge.
Because you can't love the Most High and hate wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't do that. They go hand in hand. You love the Most High, you love wisdom. You know, the scorners, you see them all day at 5 points. The scorners and the scoffers. You know what I'm saying? They want to talk and debate just to talk and debate. Like, they have no point. They're not trying to get to a certain area. So the Most High is looking at us like, how long are we going to be like this? When are we going to remove that simple nature? Right.
Verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
So, you know, the Most High, if you allow it and you receive it, the Most High will pour out his wisdom onto you. You know, you got to get right. It's a process. It's not instant. You know what I'm saying? You can't just keep one Shabbat and then, you know, you just all together perfect. It don't work that way. Like, it's a process that takes years. You know what I'm saying? And it's a process that takes decades. If Most High allow you to do it, and that's another thing. You know, we're all fortunate that we're able to come into this truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Most High didn't give everybody that opportunity. The Most High put some people to death before they could really get into it. Before they can really, they might have heard it, you know, but they didn't have a chance to open up their heart and really absorb it and really turn towards the Most High and really start to live the life that they should be living as an Israelite man and woman. You know. Go ahead.
Verse 24.
Oh, you can stop right there. So we're gonna go to Wisdom of Solomon 13:1.
Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. Gotcha.
All right.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 1. Surely they are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Who could not out of good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster.
So we don't automatically, we don't have when we're born, we don't have a predisposition just to serve the Most High. Like, it don't work like that. You know what I mean? At least not right now. Not right now, it doesn't. Let's go to, all right, keep reading.
but deemed either fire or wind, or the swift air, or the circle of the stars, or the violent water, or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world.
So, like I said, we didn't have a predisposition to serve the Most High. And a lot of times we try to find the Most High in certain ways, but we try to lean onto our own hearts, our own understanding to find the Most High, right? So, like in ancient times, they looked at the sun and like, oh, look how powerful the sun is. You know, it gives light. You know, it gives life. It gives, you know, it makes the plants grow. It makes me feel good. Hey, that's my God. You know what I'm saying? That's my God. Or they see a river, a strong, mighty river, you know what I mean? Or they see a hurricane and be like, hey, that right there in itself is God. What's more powerful than that?
Right.
They follow their own heart. They follow their own emotions. You know, and sometimes it's because of fear. Sometimes it's because of ignorance, being misled. But you know, we gotta abandon that. And this right here shows you that, you know, it happens. Keep reading.
Verse 3. With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know now. Let them know how much better. Slacking. One more time. With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty hath created them.
So, like I was just saying, like they seen these beautiful things and be like, oh yeah, that's God. Because what's better than this? I don't see anything with my own eyes that can beat this. I don't feel in my heart that something can be greater than this right here that's in front of my face, right? And that's completely false. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Just as far as the beauty goes, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 28.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 28. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom.
Read.
For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of the stars. Being compared with light, she is found before it.
So the most, even though we think, you know, the sun is beautiful, the stars are beautiful, you know, the Most High's creation is gorgeous. You know what I mean? But if you look at the way the Most High looks at it, us following Him, us receiving that wisdom, that's what's beautiful to Him. That's more beautiful than the stars. That's more beautiful than anything that He's created. He loves that, you know. So in terms of beauty right there, the most beautiful thing you can do is serve the Most High. That's the most beautiful thing possible, right? Let me get Proverbs 1 and 22 real quick.
Proverbs 1 and 22.
Oh, Slakia. I already got that. Keep going with Wisdom of Solomon.
Wisdom of Solomon 7. And what verse did we finish off on? 28. All right, 30. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, verse 30. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom.
So, you know, vice shall not prevail against wisdom. You know, if you truly have wisdom, your wisdom is going to be more powerful than that vice. You know, if you're truly training your spirit up in the right way, when that wickedness comes before you, you're going to be able to fight it. You know, hey, and like I said, though, we're not perfect creatures, so you might not win every time. But that just means you need to build up your wisdom. You need to build up your strength. You need to build up your spiritual power. You know, Yahushua gave us the opportunity to get things right. You know, and we don't have to die from the burden of the law. So use that opportunity to get better. Khan?
Fine.
Let's go back to chapter 13, the wisdom of Solomon.
13. Okay. All right. Where do we finish off at?
We're on verse 4.
Verse 4. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 4. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them.
So these things are gorgeous. These things are incredible to look at. And you wonder upon them. You lay down at night and you look at the stars. You can't even count them. They're gorgeous. But the Most High is the artist. You know what I'm saying? He created those things. So he has way more power than that. You know what I mean? His beauty is unmatched, you know?
Right.
Keep going.
For verse 5, for by the greatness and the beauty of the creatures, proportionably, the maker of them is seen.
Read verse 6 as well.
But yet for they are the less to be blamed, for they pre-adventure error, seeking God and desirous to find him.
You know, that's just saying that, hey, yeah, these things are beautiful, and you can almost see why they would do that, but they're still in wickedness. They're still in error by doing this, because they're, like we brought up earlier, they're trying to follow their own heart. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to follow their own opinion. They're trying to follow their own emotions. You know what I mean? So instead of trying to seek the Most High the way He shows us, they take these things to be their guides, and they're led down the wrong path, and it's all based upon their own vain opinion. You know, that's why in verse 1 it says, like, surely vain are all men by nature. Like, that's us by nature. You know what I'm saying? How many of us, you know, came out the womb and was just, you know, hey, I'm an Israelite. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep these laws, statutes, and commandments to the death, and I'm never gonna get nothing wrong. You know, it don't work like that, right?
Okay, shalom. Lucky Israel.
All right, so let's go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 12.
Is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 12. I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem.
Keep reading.
And I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven.
So, you know, King Solomon wrote both of these books. He wrote, you know, Wisdom of Solomon. He wrote the Proverbs. You know what I mean? He wrote Ecclesiastes. You know what I mean? And he's telling you, even though in the scripts it says that he prayed to the Most High to receive the wisdom that he got. You know what I'm saying? Wisest man on earth. But at the same time, that's not something like that just happened. He said he gave his heart to know wisdom, and he searched it out. You know what I mean? He put forth effort. You know, he read. You know what I'm saying? And he'll even tell you that, you know, that much reading is weariness of the flesh. You know, so that tells you that this king was dedicated to the Most High's wisdom when he was in his righteousness. He was dedicated to learn more and to understanding as much as he possibly could. You know. So you can't just, like, Yahweh, please let me get wisdom, and then, you know what I mean, go about your day and just hope that wisdom fall from the sky. You know what I mean? You got to put forth the effort. You got to read. You gotta watch videos. You gotta seek elders. You gotta get counsel. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, actually conversate about the scriptures. and let another brother hear what you have to say. Because if you just read and you're just sticking to your own thoughts, that's a way that you're following your own heart as well. You know what I mean? There's safety among counsel. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to run something by a brother like, hey, is this right? Does this mean that? Or does it mean something else? You know what I mean? And get that brother's insight, compare, you know what I mean? And seek out the truth of the matter. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to verse 17.
Oh, you said go to verse.
Verse 16. Go to verse 16.
Hold on, before you do that, can I bring out a quick precept?
Yeah, go ahead.
What you said too?
Yeah.
It's the same book. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. It says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So it's just like you were saying before. Solomon had to actually apply his mind and put forth the effort to actually learn these things that he was trying to learn.
It's a must. You know what I'm saying? The Most High requires action from us. It's not. We can't just serve Him with our lips. It don't work that way. You know what I mean? Like we have to serve Him. Like, hey, okay, I see. He's reading. I see that he's trying. He's putting forth the effort. You know what I mean? And I have to keep saying we're gonna fall short. You know what I'm saying? But that effort is essential. But going back to Wisdom of Solomon, and you can start at verse 10, 13 and 10, Wisdom of Solomon.
I got it. This is a verse, the book Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 10. But miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope. Who called them gods, which are the works of men's hands, gold and silver, to show art in, and resemblances of beasts, or a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand.
So not only do people worship, the sun and the elements and things of that nature. Hey, some people are simple enough to like, hey, I'm gonna carve a rooster. I'm gonna whittle a rooster, and that's gonna be my God. I'm gonna fall down and bow before it. You know what I'm saying? And they say that these things are good for nothing. People are putting their hope in dead things. Let's jump down to verse 15.
15?
16.
16. Verse 16. For he provided for it that it might not fall, knowing that it was unable to help itself, for it is an image and have need of help.
So these things that they're making, you know what I'm saying? These things can't help you. Like they need your help. You gotta make it. You gotta, hold it down and give it stability because it's gonna fall over. And if it fall over, if the statue or whatever somebody's trying to worship fall over, it's not gonna pick itself back up. It needs you. You know what I'm saying?
Salaki.
Go ahead.
Y'all already grabbed Habakkuk 2:18, or did you have that?
No, you can pull that.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 18. What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof have graven it? The molten image and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein to make dumb idols. So basically, it's the same thing that Edwin Yardan was bringing out. Like these are dumb idols that only the man that's making them is profiting from. He's the only one that got any profit out of making that dumb idol.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all seen it was a picture of a man in India or whatever that was trying to carry an idol. It was a picture of him trying to carry an idol of a god that I guess he made or somebody else made, but it was like literally Why can't your God save you from that flood? And you got to save your God, basically.
Time. You know, it don't make sense. So, and you know, I said that all to say, just to say, you know, by nature, we don't understand things, you know, and we have to seek those things out, because by nature, our people, Israelites, were into all this folly. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that if they did it, it's possible for us to do it. You know, so does this mean that, like we brought out Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful? We showed how people follow their own vain opinions and worship things that they shouldn't. You know, so is this saying that Yahweh just made us like pure evil? You know, is that what this means? Let's go to Romans 2 and start at verse 14.
Book of Romans, chapter 2, and verse 14. Says, for when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves.
So when Gentiles, you know, the people that have fallen away from the truth, of course, we know salvation is for us and the law is just for us. You know, when they do things that are in the law, but they didn't know that, they were never taught that, it's like a law unto themselves. It's like their conscience. For example, you might have a brother in the world, you know what I'm saying? This brother is wicked. This brother will rob from you. This brother will, you know, put you to death. This brother will do all kind of things to you. But something in his spirit is like, nah, I don't commit adultery. I don't mess with another man's wife. You know, that's what that's saying. Like, that's a law that the Most High just put in his heart. You know what I'm saying? By nature, just naturally predisposed not to do something like that. Keep reading.
Which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another.
So it's the Most High has planted good in us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I'd say everybody in the truth. You know, the Most High put some degree of good in you. You know what I mean? Because it's rare for a brother in this world, for a sister in this world to say, you know what, the world ain't working for me. I've been living my life wrong. Everything I knew was a lie. Everything people told me was a lie. I'm gonna change my whole life around, and I'm gonna follow the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm gonna stop doing the things that I was raised to do, and my family continue to do. You know, hey, it's something special about you if you're able to do that. It's not an easy thing to do, and it only gets harder the older you get. You know what I mean? And most of us wasn't born into the truth. So most of us come into the truth, you know, we in our 20s, 30s, 40s, you know what I'm saying? Brothers in their 70s still able to, you know, start to watch that wickedness off of them, you know? So the Most High already planted that peace in you, you know what I mean? It could have been a little seed from one brother here, another brother elsewhere watered it, you know what I'm saying? It didn't grow right away. You know, you was at home one day, you know, you laying in your bed thinking, and things just clicked for you. You know what I'm saying? That happens to a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers, even when they see the truth for the first time, or they hear the truth for the first time, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the first time I seen the Israelites, I was like, hey, they racist. You know what I'm saying? They just mad. You know what I mean? But the Most High was able to soften my heart, and I was able to like really understand. The Bible really say that? We really supposed to do that? That's in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And hey, he can change you around if you're willing to do that. If you're willing to come to him as a child, you know, become a child again. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot, yeah. And that really speaks to the state of where we're at in America as well, because we've been indoctrinated in so many different things that to hear the truth sounds like a lie now. Like, it really sounds like, you know what I'm saying, it's absurd to say, oh, love your people first sounds racist to everybody. But that's the epitome of, like, to me, that's why I don't necessarily get mad at white people for everything they do. They love their people first. That's what they're supposed to do. If anything else is just absurd to me. It doesn't make any sense for me to come and look at something and go, yeah, you're racist because you want me to love you before I love that white man. That white man might kill me, but you know, I can't just hate him for that. Like that just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, you know, so I get exactly where you're coming from.
They say that about us, but then you got to think like the Chinese man is racist enough to have a Chinatown. Like, you see the hypocrisy?
In the world, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that makes sense. They can do what they want, but we can't. You know what I'm saying? We can't be like that. Nah. And it's crazy how things flip, because when you get into the truth, it's the opposite. Now it's weird. Like, what you mean you don't? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to buy from. Wouldn't you rather buy from your brother? Wouldn't you rather buy from your sister? Nah, I'm gonna go over there. Like, it don't make sense to us now, but the Most High turned the tables for us. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Zalaki, I got two precepts. Now, one was to the point where you said, well, of course, the Most High did put some kind of good in us. The first one is Ecclesiastes 7:29. It says, lo, this only have I found, that God had made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. So it's like being carried away to our own lust, we started to go off and do things from the Most High. Because like even dealing with Solomon was righteous as all get out. But he ended up allowing his lust and his curiosity to bring him into bring him into idolatry, dealing with all the different women as well that were other nations. And then the second one is Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So we had to drop a lot of the ideologies and indoctrination that we've had for this whole time that we've been in this kingdom and come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, because that's the perfect will of God. Right? Those are his perfect ways. And part of that comes with love, like true love. We know what true love is loving God and loving our brother first, loving our neighbor as ourselves, preferring one another. How are you?
Yeah, good precepts. On that same note, let's go to 1 Corinthians 2:9.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9. But as it is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God had prepared for them that love him.
So the Most High has something prepared for people who get off that nature and put, the Most High's spirit into their hearts, the Most High's words into their hearts. He has something prepared for you that you've never seen, that you can't even understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like to meditate on the kingdom, but really the kingdom is unfathomable. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't. It's going to be so much greater than what we expect. It's going to blow away our expectations. That place is prepared for the brothers and sisters that really love Yahweh, right? Read verse 10.
Verse 10. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things. Yeah, the deep things of God.
So when you studying, when you reading, when you trying to get these things, it's not your flesh doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because your flesh and your spirit is contrary. it's really your spirit saying, "Hey, I need to study this. I need to understand this." You know what I mean? I need to listen to what this brother is saying. Like it's putting your flesh on mute at that point, right? So real quick, Romans 8:26.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
So even when you pray into the Most High, you know what I'm saying? You might say certain things, you know, it didn't really come out the right way out of your mouth. So your spirit, like, this is what we really trying to say. The Spirit makes intercession that comes between what your flesh is saying. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead and read it again. It makes an intercession.
It's a lock here.
8:26.
What in the world?
It's going to begin, right?
No, you got it. I'm good. It's Romans 8:26. I'm gonna jump up on my screen. It says, likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
So when you're praying, you know what I'm saying, the Spirit come through and says things that your mouth wouldn't be able to speak. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that your spirit is right, you know, and that's what this whole thing is about, getting your spirit right. So let's continue on in Corinthians.
First Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man.
You can keep going.
Oh no, I'll start over. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of a man which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man but the Spirit of God.
So like the spirit know the real you. You know what I'm saying? And your spirit is one thing, and your flesh is another thing. And the spirit of the Most High, that's the thing that you need to be trying to attain. You know what I mean? Keep reading.
Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God.
So, you know, by nature, most of us, we started to receive the spirit of the world. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we was raised. You know, we was raised eating pork, you know what I'm saying, throwing some ribs on the grill. We was raised, you know, doing all kind of abominable acts. You know, we was raised, you know, as men, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, just have fun with the sister, you know what I mean? And the same thing for the sisters, you know. So that's the world that was that's the spirit of the world that was in us at that time. You know, when we search out wisdom, we rewire ourselves, we rewire our spirit. You know, we receive the things of the Most High. You know what I mean? Keep reading.
Which things also we speak not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual.
So, you know, receiving the things that the Holy Spirit teaches, that's pretty much not following your own heart, not leaning onto your own understanding. You know what I mean? Because if you're leaning to your own understanding, if you're depending on your natural self and you're depending on your flesh, you're not going to be able to receive these things. You can't receive the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? Keep reading.
But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned.
So, you see this all the time. You see this all the time at 5 points. Somebody's like deep into the world. We tell them, hey, you can't do this, brother. The Most High said, be like this, brother. The Most High said, you need this, brother. And they say, oh, no, I ain't doing that. Like, that's foolishness. I got to get this money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's black and white. It's black and white. So if you're serving the flesh, that's who you are. The things of the Most High is going to seem foolish to you. And if you're serving the Most High, it's the total opposite. The things of the world seem foolish, like we was just talking about. Like he completely, made us do a 180 and change our way of thinking. By seeking Him out and seeking out His knowledge. You know what I mean? Keep going. And things are spiritually discerned. Spiritually discerned. Keep going.
But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man.
The spiritual man can judge all things because the spiritual man is not judging with his own eyes. The spiritual man is not like, I think things should be like this. I feel like things should be like this. The spiritual man is saying, hey, Yahweh said this. Yahweh feels this way. Yahweh says that. You know what I mean? So if you're doing that, who else can judge you? No one can judge you because what you're doing is you're leaning onto the spiritual things, right? Keep going.
Can I get that precept for what makes a man spiritual or what is spiritual?
I was about to pull that. Go ahead and get that.
It's the book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 14. It says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So it's just like what Adawan was saying, like the law is that sound doctrine that the Most High gave us. So anything that's contrary to that sound doctrine is something that you'll need in order to judge righteously or judge soundly. That's why you can't be judged of any man. We're not leaning onto our own understanding. These are the things that the Most High already set out for us. And really, when you look at the laws from a spiritual as well as a practical level, everything in the laws is keeping you in balance with nature and how the Most High had already had things originally set up. There's a reason that He told us don't eat pork. There's a reason that He told us don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster, all that stuff, because they clean the earth. So it's like if you lean into your own understanding and say, all right, I'm gonna eat this pork, then you really just threw out the whole ecosystem, because now what's going to eat? Like a pig will eat anything. So since you're eating a pig, what's going to clean the earth? Are you?
Yeah, and like it's saying, like the worldly things are foolishness to us now. You know what I'm saying? And hitting on the same note you were saying, like the Most High, like He makes His laws. His laws is perfect. So not only does it take care of ourselves, but even like our land, like the Most High gives you directions, like, hey, don't sow diverse seeds. You know what I mean? And looking at it practically, I mean, we do it because He said don't do that, so we don't do it. But looking at it practically, if you sow diverse seeds, you know what I'm saying? Those plants could be competing for each other, when it comes to nutrients, when it comes to roots and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So it's a practical thing not to do that. It's a practical thing not to eat swine because it can give you high blood pressure. It can cause heart problems and things like that. It's a practical thing of the laws. Like you're not supposed to muzzle an ox while you tread it through the corn because it's cruel. You know what I'm saying? So somebody that's simple would like do something like that to the beast of burden. You know what I mean? They might not be thinking about it, but you don't have to do the thinking because the Most High does the thinking for you. You know what I'm saying? He made a whole manual for life. Like all we have to do is follow it. But it can, of course, it's hard for us because we're trying to wash off all this wickedness that we've been doing for years upon years. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to Galatians. Let's go to Galatians 5.
Oh, Salaki, you want me to finish that out? That verse 16.
Keep going. Yeah,
For who have known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ.
We have the mind of Christ. You know, we want to follow the will of Yahweh. We want to have mercy on our brothers. You know what I'm saying? We want to love our brothers like ourselves. You know, we want to teach our people. You know, Christ died for the church. Christ died for our people. We have to try to at least get close to that. You know, the scriptures will tell you seldom will a man die for a righteous man. You know what I mean? The Most High died for carnal people. You know, so the best thing that you can Slakia, Yahweh Shai died for carnal people. So the best thing that you can do to honor that death is to stop being carnal and to be more spiritually minded. Khan.
Now you
So
want Galatians 5 and what?
5 and 16.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of your flesh.
So if you're walking in the spirit, you know what I mean, you're not going to, you put your flesh on hold. You know what I mean? It said like you're tempted to some kind of wickedness. Like you about to do something. You're like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Instead of doing what my flesh wants me to do, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little quick fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling too tight right now. I'm feeling weak. I'm a fast. You know what I mean? And you're not serving your flesh. You're not giving your flesh any pleasure. You're not giving it food. You're not giving it water. So it puts itself on pause. You know what I mean? And you can kind of you can let your spirit take the front seat. You know what I'm saying? You read that again?
Is the book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
So if you're walking in the spirit, you're not gonna fulfill the lust of your flesh, because you're fulfilling the spirit. You know what I mean? That's the number one thing. Keep reading.
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one, Salaki, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
So they're contrary to one another. You know what I'm saying? You can't serve both. But you can't serve both. You know what I'm saying? You either letting your flesh take the front seat, or you letting the spirit take the front seat. You know, and sometimes, like I said, what this whole lesson is about is, the nature of man. So understanding our nature and understanding that sometimes we do get weak, sometimes we are ignorant. You know what I mean? We have to, of course, lean on the Most High for our understanding, but we also have to, receive counsel from other brothers. We also have to, we have to, like the scripture say, we have to come together as a nation, and because it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to not do something wicked when you got a brother right there. Be like, nah, that's not a good look for you. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. You hear another voice. You hear something other than your own head, your own mouth speaking to you. You know what I mean? But keep reading.
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit. Oh no, Salaki. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law.
Okay, so if you're led of the spirit, you are not under the law. Keep reading.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness,
These are wicked things. These are abominable things. Adultery, fornication, lasciviousness. Lasciviousness is pretty much like riotous living. Keep reading.
Verse 20, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies,
Read.
envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
So these are all things, none of these things come from the spirit. All these things come from the flesh. These are the things that are automatically ingrained in us that we would do. If we didn't have the Most High telling us not to do it, if we didn't have him trying to guide us, most of these things that we would be doing. You know what I'm saying? So the Wadi Yahweh for giving us these law, statutes, and commandments. It's the best gift that we could receive. Him and Yahweh and the mercy that he brings. So those are all things that come from the flesh, and here's the fruits of the spirit.
Verse 22. But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
There is no law against these things. You can freely do these things all the time, all day. You can be meek. You can have a long fuse. You know what I'm saying? You can be peaceful with your brother. You can love your brother. You can be gentle towards your brother. Like, these are the things that come from the spirit. This is the way we should be towards one another. You know what I mean? Keep reading.
And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust.
So, being with Christ, you crucify the flesh. Pretty much like you killed the flesh. You tortured the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nothing to do with those things that are mentioned before that comes from the flesh, that comes from our simple nature as a man. You know what I mean? You let those things go. You crucify it. Keep going.
If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit.
Read.
Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another.
So we got to live in the spirit, and we got to walk in the spirit, and not for vainglory. Not, hey, you know what I'm saying? Look at my fringes. Look at my meat tree. You know what I'm saying? I be teaching on the corner, but I go home and I'm just wicked as all get out. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's really about changing who's in control, like this flesh and the spirit. You know what I mean? And Most High willing the way we can walk in the spirit at all times. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to really obtain. You want to be able to automatically jump to, and that's what reading the scriptures and being around brothers is all about. Because you want to automatically jump to the spiritual solution. That you want that to be your first thought instead of your nature. You don't want your nature to be your first thought. Just a quick example, a brother stepped on your shoes, just got them, you know what I'm saying? Just put them on, pure white, brother step on them. The natural thing is, hey, get upset, be angry. You know what I'm saying? The spiritual thing is, hey, you know what I'm saying? I know you didn't try to do that. I'm not even going to hold it against you. You know what I'm saying? So you want that to be your first reaction. And that can take some time, but it can happen. Let's go to real quick, Wisdom of Solomon 4 and verse 8.
Hold on, it's a lot, the other one. One of the sisters in the chat asked, what does verse 18? Oh, okay, never mind. No, she said she understands.
Okay.
All right. Oh, you said Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 18?
Yeah. 4 and 18. 4 and 8.
4 and 8. Con. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 8. What have pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us?
Salakia, you have Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 8.
It's Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 8. Oh, Salaki, that's 5 and 8.
Okay.
Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 8. For honorable age is not that which standeth in length of time, nor that is measured by number of years.
So honorable age, a ripe age, an old age, it doesn't matter. This is speaking spiritually, of course. It's not according to time. Time doesn't matter in this circumstance. Keep reading.
Verse 9. But wisdom is the gray hair unto men, and an unspotted life is old age.
Unspotted wisdom is the gray hair unto men. The fear of the Most High is the gray hair unto men, and the unspotted life is old age. Meaning, time doesn't really matter when it comes to spiritual maturity. You know, the fear of the Most High, it shows your spiritual maturity. You know what I'm saying? You could be 20 years old, but you really fear the Most High. And you really you're doing your best to live that unspotted life. Your spirit is more mature than someone that's 70 years old and he's still in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's what's important. This is talking about spiritual maturity, but wisdom is gray hair unto men, and an unspotted life is old age. Because you keep making mistakes when you first come into the truth. Like, dang, today was the new moon. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Dang, Starburst got gelatin in it. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But as time goes on, you don't make those simple mistakes. So, ideally, you really start to get to the point where your life is having less and less spots in it. You know what I mean? And that means you're becoming more spiritually mature. That's what that's saying, right? Go ahead.
My bad. I ain't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I had a precept. This is Job chapter 32 and verse 9. It says, great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. So just as Adawan was saying, like the great man is great is kind of like old English for old or older or elderly. So our elders are not always going to understand this truth. And the age won't always understand judgment. They won't understand the ways of the Most High just because they're older.
Con. Hey, because you could been on this earth for 100 years, but what was you doing with that 100 years? You know what I'm saying? And you could be on the earth for 15 years, but hey, those 15 years you was here, you was building that spiritual maturity. You know what I mean? So the brother's spirit is older than the brother whose flesh is older. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to 1 John 2 and verse 15.
1 John 2 and 15. It's the book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Con, you can't love the world. You know what I'm saying? You got to let the world go. You got to crucify the flesh. You know what I'm saying? It's a requirement. You know what I mean? It's not a suggestion. Because if you love the world, you're going to continue to do worldly things. You know what I'm saying? And you enjoy the worldly things, you start to become more and more worldly. That's not to say, if being in the spirit means I'm in my room and I'm studying the scriptures and I don't go nowhere, I don't do nothing, I just study the scriptures all day and night. That's not what it means. It means you have spiritual discernment. You know when it's time, okay, I might have a brother that's not in the truth. You know what I mean? I can hang out with him, but things start to get too carnal. You be like, okay, Yeah, I'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna hit you up. You know what I mean? So you can continue to enjoy these things in the world. You can go to Disney World. You know what I'm saying? You can enjoy life, but the spirit needs to be in the front seat. You have to remove your carnal nature. You know what I'm saying? You have to remove the nature that has been on you your whole life. You got to get rid of that. Keep reading.
Con. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Come on, read.
And the world passeth away in the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
Con. So the fleshly things, the worldly things, the carnal things, you might be enjoying it for a time, but all that is temporary. You know what I'm saying? All that passes. You know, one day it's not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to invest your time in the things that's going to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? It could be you. You could be enjoying these things. You know, you could be enjoying you can be enjoying the Most High. You could be in the kingdom. You know, if you put forth the effort. You know what I'm saying? If Yahweh Shai gives you grace, like you could be in there. You know, so right now, our nature isn't by default spiritual, but that's only right now. Turn to Jeremiah 31 and 31.
Con. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord.
Con. So, you know, the Most High said He's going to make a covenant with Judah, the southern kingdom, and with Israel, the northern kingdom. And it's going to be a new covenant. A lot of Christians think that covenant is now. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you, hey, we in a new covenant. Well, first and foremost, the new covenant is just for Israel. It's just for the Israelites, no one else. It says it right here. Because we're a bride unto the Most High. He's a husband unto us. He's a provider. He's a caretaker. You know what I'm saying? We're submissive. We need to submit to Him. You know, and hey, things will go smoothly. Hey, if we just submit, things will go smoothly, right? Keep reading.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Okay, Khan. So we were just talking about how by default we're not right. You know what I'm saying? We're wicked by default, and we have to remove that wickedness, and we have to suppress the flesh. Now, this is saying with the new covenant, which surely we're not in at this time, that the law is going to be written in our inward parts, right? The law is going to be automatically in our hearts. We're going to have a natural predisposition to serve the Most High, right? And it goes into what extent that will be. Keep reading.
Come. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. And they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Con. So this scripture is saying that in this day, in that new covenant, like we don't even, what we're doing right now on the live stream trying to edify brothers and sisters, there's no need for that no more. Because the law is already in your heart. You know what I'm saying? The Most High put it there. It's there. The flesh is fully suppressed. You know what I'm saying? It says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. You know what I mean? I heard of Salakia. Oh, okay, fine. It says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. You know, you don't got to teach what's already understood. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to live in a world like that. I want to live in a world where, like, hey, thou shalt not steal. Why are you saying that? I already know that. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Others just automatically love you. You know what I'm saying? There's no malice in their heart whatsoever. You know, but to be in that world, we have to do what we can to remove that at this time, because hey, at this time, we're not in the new covenant. Well, we do have temptations and things of that nature. So,
Salakia.
go ahead.
Can I bring out this precept? Because there is going to come a day it's going to be like this. And it's interesting because when that day comes, it says, like in the scriptures, that this is going to be like a dream. So this is Psalms chapter 126, I'll start at verse 1. It says, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord have done great things for them. The Lord have done great things for us, whereof we are glad. Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. So it's like, you're not going to even think about pain in that day. Imagine that. Like, you're not even going to, because I know it's going to be a lot of us who that do make it to the kingdom. Some of us might be sad that our family get destroyed in Babylon. But even in that day, like, you're not even going to think about it. Like, you're not going to have to worry about death. You're not going to have to worry about sadness. All of the things that plague us in this current world, not even going to be a thought. Like, wondering about some of us, hey, I'll even be a little bit more practical. Some of us worried about how we going to pay our bills this month. We're not even going to think about that.
I got a precept for exactly what you're saying. Revelations 21, and you can start at verse 3.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 3. It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God.
The Most High gonna be with us, right? And the brother was saying, hey, brother's gonna be sad. You know what I'm saying? Brothers might be upset. Hey, you got that family member that you really loved. They didn't make it though. You know what I'm saying? But keep reading.
Verse 4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
So like there ain't gonna be no crying, it ain't gonna be no tears, it ain't gonna be no remorse. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is gonna remove those things. There's not gonna be any pain. You know what I'm saying? We might read about it in the book or something like, hey, pain is this. We're like, I don't get that. I don't understand how you could be hurt. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. Those things are going to pass away. Those things are going to be dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something to reach for, Israel. You know what I mean? And if I hope I was able to edify brothers and sisters. And if you don't receive anything from that lesson, just receive that, hey, we got to be more spiritual. If that's the only thing you can take from tonight and take from the message I tried to present, it's just let's be more spiritual. Let's put away the folly and let's stop chasing after the flesh. Huh? Yeah.
All right, Israel. As you can see, not a long lesson tonight. Went exactly straight to the point. Hopefully you were edified. So we'll open up the floor right now for questions. If you got any questions over the lesson, give them a minute. Any questions? Anybody? You might have edified them a little too well. They can't even ask no questions on the lesson.
Hey, all praises if they understand. All praises, you know.
God,
I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Had a one, y'all were done. How everything? Hey, all right, so we got a minute. How's everything going? It's been a minute since I talked to you. I ain't got to man. How's everything going?
Hey, things are going pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Things are going pretty well. You know, I can't complain too much. The Most High is blessing me. The Most High, I feel like he's trying to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be mad. You know. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Adam one. One of the soldiers. What's the difference between soul and spirit?
The difference between soul and spirit is really the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like your spirit is your soul. You know, your spirit is your true self. You know what I mean? And it's just housed in the flesh. Like that's all that really is. You know, there's no distinction between soul and spirit.
Let's see. Y'all, why you find any precepts for that?
Hold on.
Let's see.
It is one. I'm thinking of Psalms 40 and 8, but it's the precept for Psalms 40 and 8 that Paul actually quoted. Where he said, I delight to do thy will, oh my God, for the laws in my heart.
Let me see.
If you
I may already have it written in.
if you look at the Strong's 5396, for spirit it's going to be like breath, like the breath of life. You know, that's really what the spirit is.
What?
In the Hebrew, in the Strong's 5396. Daniel. So it's defined as like life, breath. 1 second, I'm gonna pull a precept.
Salaki. I know where it was that I was looking for. It's Psalms 7 and 22. I mean, not Psalms, Romans 7 and 22. It says, for I delight in the law of God after the inward man. Right? So that inward man is dealing with your spirit, man, and your soul. Like Paul is telling you in that verse, I delight to do the Most High's will or keep the Most High's laws in my soul, like to my very core, which is pretty much the same thing that David was saying in Psalms 40 and 8. Like we always look at that precept about what the will of the Most High is, but don't tend to really look at what it's actually saying. In Psalms 40 and 8, he says, I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yeah, thy law is within my heart. So if it's within your heart, it's something that you're already doing. Like it's in your mind, it's ingrained in you. A lot of people tend to point out David's one time that he messed up, but always tend to overlook how perfect he actually was. He's recorded in the scriptures as being perfect. Oh, yeah.
Con. Hey. So does that clear it up?
Well, let's see. I take it as well, the brother ain't responded yet. Yep. He said con. All right, cool. I guess that got it for him. All right. Let's see. Who else? Sharon Purdy. Go ahead and explain Galatians 5 and 18.
Galatians 5 and 18.
Con.
All right, let's pull that again.
That's the one that I was going to ask you about, but she said never mind, she had it. But I'm glad that we're going back to it. No, we good. We good. It says, this is Galatians 5 and 18. It says, but if ye be led of the Spirit, you're not under the law.
Okay, so if you're led by the Spirit, how are you living? That would be the question that you have to ask. And it goes on and talk about these things. If you're led by the Spirit, you're going to be 5 and 22 through 24. You know what I mean? That's being led by the Spirit. Go ahead and read those 3 verses again.
This is the book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
There is no law for those things. You know what I mean? Keep going.
And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts.
Con. So if you're led by the Spirit, then these are your fruits. These are the things that you're doing. So you're not going to fall victim to the law. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean like the punishments of the law. It doesn't mean if you're led by the Spirit, don't keep the law. Because if you're doing spiritual things like the brother, what was that? Romans 8 and 12.
No, Romans 7 and 14.
7 and 14. Go ahead and bring that out.
I bring it. This is the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
So if you're being led by the Spirit, you're being spiritual. If you're being spiritual, you're following the law. You know what I'm saying? So verse 18 is not saying it would be a contradiction to say be led by the Spirit, but don't be under the law, because it's the same thing, you know. So it's really just saying if you're being led by the Spirit, you don't have to worry about the burdens of the law. You know what I mean?
Salaki, I don't want.
Go ahead.
To your point, also when you read, it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. That's the first the first fruit that's actually mentioned for the fruit of the Spirit. So when we look at what love is the keeping of the commandments. So if you're keeping the commandments, then there's no law against you keeping the commandments because you're doing what you're supposed to do. Now, I also got a precept for that too. It's 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 8 through 10. It says, "But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man." So it's not made for a man that's already keeping the commandments because you're already doing what you're supposed to be doing. It says, "But for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine." So that's the whole purpose for the law, which is spiritual. So if you're already being led of the Spirit or keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, how can you break the law if you're keeping it?
Con.
Right.
What does sister say about that? She understand?
She said, "Con, yeah."
Okay, all praises.
Here's one. Tamika Hill said, I'm new in the truth. Was Simon one of Jesus' disciples? I guess she's talking about Simon the Canaanite.
Let's go to, where's the precept?
Let me see. That would be what was that? Matthew 10.
Matthew 10. Oh, Simon the Canaanite in Matthew 10 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Simon the Canaanite, you know, and Judas, they betrayed Yahushua. Because that's not speaking of Simon Peter, you know. That would be
She might be tripped up because it says Simon like the Canaanite, but just because it says the Canaanite, he could have resided. He just resided in the land of Canaan. A lot of Israel would have been called and recognized by the land that they came from when they lived in. It didn't necessarily mean they were Canaanite. That's just the land that he came out of.
Because you gotta, Salaki, to your point, you gotta ask yourself, if that was the case, then why did he allow, or why did he ignore the Canaanite lady when she was crying about her daughter being vexed with the devil in Matthew 15? But we always say, "Oh, he said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So he gonna let a Canaanite dwell him up? Like he gonna let a Canaanite be his disciple?
Right. Like brother Octaves has said, like Cornelius and Paul. Paul said he was a Roman. So does that negate the fact that he's an Israelite from the tribe of Levi? Right.
Paul was a Benjamite. When you read Romans 11 and 1.
God. Anybody else have any questions? Looks like they dying down, getting a little. I'm gonna ask some. So Adawan, did you see the news about that football player that tried to kill his rib?
I missed that.
So there's a white defensive lineman that he told his rib. He had a black girlfriend. He told her to bow to him, and she wouldn't. Like she's like, nah, I ain't doing that. So what he did, he choked her until she passed out. Well, he beat her. He beat her and he choked her until she passed out. All right, and he thought she was dead. So he went back to eating his food and eating his dinner while she's laying on the bed. He thought she was dead. She gets up, wakes up, gets up and runs to the bathroom, locks the door, and as she's running to the bathroom, she hears him say, "Oh, you're still alive?" As he's eating his food, they catch him, take him to jail, and he gets a he got $400,000 bail. So literally, he got out with $4,000.
Hey, that's just the definition of Esau. You know what I'm saying? The man is a beast. You know what I mean? That's what he do. Esau loves to subjugate. You know what I'm saying? And when he sees our women, he doesn't see them as, okay, this is a person. He sees them like, hey, this is my toy. This is my plaything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not serving me. I'm gonna do what I want with it. You know what I mean? If it's dead, it's dead. You know what I mean? So, hey, Israel, stay away from the heathen. You know what I mean? Don't even put yourself in that circumstance. Get you a brother in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying?
Precept.
Well, yeah, I knew he was going.
Bring it out.
I got Joshua 23:12-13. It says, "Else if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them and go in unto them, and they to you, know for a certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from off this good land which the Lord your God hath given you." He already told us, don't make marriages with the other nations. It's not even in their spirit to serve the Most High. And then of all the nations you're gonna go and be with, you're gonna be with the number one op. Yes, I said op. Like, no, Most High. I hate to say it like that because she's still one of our sisters, but when you look at the before picture of the sister, it's like, yeah, like blonde weave in her. Yeah, like, yeah.
Let me get that. Let me get that the precept of what you were saying. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. "Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son." Verse 4. "For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly." So the anger of the Most High it was kindled against that sister, and that Edomite almost destroyed her in her own bedroom. Literally, as the scripture said, you want to join with him? That's what you got to worry about. That's the first thing you got to think about. And a lot of times with Eve, she like the brother said on the screen, she want that clout, she want that notoriety. She want to feel like she's done it and got somewhere. So to chase after him, she probably literally was in the hood with a Jake and met this Edomite and was like, yeah, I made a come up. And she telling Jake like, you ain't nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. Now that's the same Jake she gotta look at when she go home now after getting her face and suffocated. And now you on the news. Like we looking at you like, wow. You could have stayed here. I mean, the most I would have did, maybe tell you were stupid, but he really tried to kill you. Like he really tried to kill you. So we're watching it. As I read that story, I started thinking. I think I told y'all yesterday. As I read that story, I started thinking about all the Eves on my lifetime, and I'm literally thinking. And I say Eve, I'm literally talking about Eve from Rough Riders. And that's what I'm talking about. She was known as a pit bull in a skirt, right? The whole time she was with black men, she was a pit bull in a skirt. And then what happened? She met I guess you call him, I say Esau, but some people say he's Arabic. I don't know. But I look at him and I say he's Esau. And now she's just the same. He raising his kids. There's no pit bull. She ain't aggressive at all toward him. And that's generally what we see from Eve. She gets with one of those and she's, I'm submissive now. But when it comes to dealing with your own men, you got to buck all day. And that just doesn't make any sense to me, man. Because especially when we start seeing cases like this where the man you with, he don't respect you. He don't care about you. He ain't trying to be with you seriously. He wants you to bow down and be a slave. That ain't nothing that you really need to be dealing with, because the Bible tells us that we're supposed to keep our wives. We're supposed to reverence our wives. We're not supposed to be trying to put our foot on our wives' neck. We're supposed to uplift our wives. A lot of women get that misconstrued too in Israel. Our job is not to make you be a servant to me. I'm supposed to have a level of respect for you that I'm going to die for you. I'm supposed to be willing to give my life. That's a level of respect that you're not going to get from these other nations. Period.
Con.
Oh, Salaki, I got one more precept. And then the sister Sharon asked another question. Well, I got Sirach chapter 26 and verse 19 through 21. It says, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
God.
So, of course, this can go both ways. We know Hebrew is a primary masculine language. Well, Hebrew is a masculine language, which is why a lot of things it always talks about dealing with the man. But this goes both ways. Sisters, they're not going to love you like we love you.
God.
Jagged Edge voice. He can't love you like I love you. Like, it just ain't going to work. And man, it's not going to take care of you how we going to take care of you. You try to trade Trayvon for Chad if you want to and see how that work out. I'm just
yeah, quick precept. Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and I haven't read the article myself, but from the way you describe it, Benaiah, it sounds like you hit the nail on the head. Like the sister just wanted that status symbol. You know what I'm saying? She had the envy of our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? She was like, hey, look where I'm at. And that's kind of what you. No, I'm not gonna say. But you know, she's envying the oppressor. She got the blonde weave. She's with a white man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you get what you ask for. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm gonna stop, because hey, we can't let this Edomite get away. He need need to know. You know, he need to be seen. All right, y'all see this? This is him. That's him. You see how big he is? He's like 6'7". He's like, I think they said he's like 6'3", 317 pounds. She's 5'9", 145. All right. He can't get away. He can't get away. That story's not being put in the news. You know why it's not being put in the news? Because he's not black. He's not black. That's point blank period. If he was Jake and he did that, it didn't matter if it was an Eve or if he did that to a white woman. They're gonna crucify him. He out the league. But he's getting swept to the side. He's just getting swept to the side. He's going to keep his career, going to keep his money, and at most they'll charge him with simple assault, probably. At most, and he'll be done. He'll do community service somewhere, pay a hefty fine. She won't get nothing out of it because he ain't gonna pay her a damn dollar. And they're gonna go about their business. And next season we'll see him tackling somebody. Period. Now, this is where Eve got to make a decision, though. Eve really got to start thinking to herself, what about my safety? Because I ain't forgot about the sister that went to the sleepover with the 7 Edomites, and she's the only one that died, and they got 7 conflicting stories about how she died. I ain't forgot about that. We got Eve all over the place wanting to spend her time with Esau. Like, this is just a thing to do. This is the opposite of what we should be doing. As I read, it says don't make marriages with them, right? And then we got other precepts. The other precept says never trust thine enemy. You have to explain to me, he still has to explain to me, when did this white man stop being our enemy? We just went through what, like 6 months of protest from George Floyd, who got killed by a white man? When did he stop being our enemy, man? It happened. This man is sadistic, and he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. Y'all are like he got something on his brain, but he's not going to stop. Let me go back up here. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna get agitated. Keep talking about it.
No, I'm just saying. It's a lot, Edwin. Remember when it was Ray Rice on the other hand?
Crucified. He punched her in the elevator, and let's just get that straight. When Ray Rice did what he did, his rib was literally being a demon at the same time. Nobody said anything about her being a demon, not at all. But when he punched her in the face, oh yeah, he's dead ass wrong. And he lost his whole career over that. Over him handling something between what should have been private between him and his rib, but he did it in a place where there was a camera. I guarantee you there was some Edomite that was looking at that film like, I am about to get paid. TMZ, here we come. Like, just like that. And the man's career is done. His career is over with. We ain't seen Ray Rice since. Meanwhile, you can coon though. You can be a straight up coon and kill somebody like what's his name? Ray Lewis. On the same team. On the same team. He killed somebody, have a lucrative career. In your career and be a broadcaster after that. Just have your face all over TV after that. Just tell Esau I'm sorry. Never. Matter of fact, what program you want me to get on where I tell these Negroes don't do this, don't act like that? That's all he did. You see it in proof is Mike Vick is doing the same thing right now. The same exact thing. He's saving his career by telling Negroes don't act like that. He was one of the main ones against Black Lives Matter in the protest. Mike Vick was doing that, but he wanted all black people on his side when it was time for him to go to court.
We kind of talking about the same thing as full circle, because all Esau really want is for us to bow down to him. You know what I'm saying? Bow down to him, love him, and submit to him. Like, it's the same thing with the sister. It's the same thing with like the NFL and the kneeling thing. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of the kneeling, your boy Ray Lewis, he said he was down on both knees. He wasn't kneeling. He was praying. You know what I'm saying? So he was trying his best to coon out. You know what I mean? Hey, Esau give you some, he'll give you some extra treats, you know what I'm saying? Some extra butter on your biscuit if you do that. That's all he's looking for.
Right. You know? I didn't even see this one. Look. No, I didn't hear about the Bachelor. They told. Of course, Eve is gonna be mad about that. Of course, she's gonna be pissed about that. Eve can have a white man, but you better not go get that white woman. Not do that. And look, while I'm saying I'm not advocating for you to go get no white woman. Don't take this. If somebody would take this video and twist it up like, yeah, got a woman, but I was over here talking about go get you a white woman. That ain't what I said. That's not what I'm saying. Eve just tends to always want it her way. Always. She always wants to be able. It's like that meme that says, yo, you need to change In order for us to be together, you need to change. Yeah, but here's some things that you can change. Well, accept me as I am, or we're not going to be together. That's Eve, literally. But she wanted her way all the time. So no, I didn't see that, but I can believe that. Yeah, it's a good portion of Eve that was mad. It was like, oh, you chose that white woman over those black women that they put on there, not understanding that those black women are probably chocolate covered Edomites that they put on there. So he would have had the same choice either way it went. It wasn't going to change for him. Let me see. Let's get back up to one of these questions. Another one that I saw that I really wanted to deal with or take a look at.
The sister asked about the book of Enoch.
That's the one. That's the one. If I can find it. Not scroll right. Hold on. But yeah, basically, Adam, that was the question. There it is. Why don't we recognize the book of Enoch?
Who wrote it? You know what I'm saying? That's really like we can't substantiate it. You know what I'm saying? And anybody could have written this book. You know what I'm saying? And added their own things. You know what I'm saying? Just tried to make something, speak some smooth words, try to throw the own understanding in there. And then you read. I haven't went deep into the book of Enoch myself. You know what I mean? Because my focus is on the things that we can back up, and the things that we can say when there is evidence for it. You know what I mean? But some of the little things I looked at, I'm not going to speak on it because I haven't delved into the book of Enoch. Like some of the things is wild though, like giants and all kinds of madness that just doesn't line up. You know what I mean? And that's part of the reason why I haven't jumped into it, because it doesn't line up with a lot of the things that are in the scripts. You know?
Okay.
Just the small things I saw.
I have the same sentiment. Like, of course, I mean, and of course, she posed this, right, Blonde? Yeah, there are going to be some things in the book of Enoch that you can, right, like that are going to match up to some of the precepts or scriptures in the Bible. Of course, there are going to be some things in that you have to, in order to make a lie, it has to start from the truth. Basically, it has to have some truth in it to actually, to catch your attention and make you want to be able to relate it. But as you delve deeper into the book of Enoch, you'll start finding there are a lot of inconsistencies in that book. And then the fact that there are more than one version of that book. That's another thing that was a red flag for me. There's more than one version of the book of Enoch. You know what I'm saying? Which one is the one I should be reading? That's a red flag, so I put it to the side. Now, I am gonna say this. I'm the type of person, if it don't line up with doctrine, and if I can't readily match it up to everything in the Bible, I'm gonna throw it in the trash off the rip. Because my learning and all my lessons come from the Bible, New Testament. I mean, Old Testament, apocrypha, New Testament. All my lessons and teachings, they're gonna come out of that. Everything that I've learned has come out of that. The book of Enoch does not substantiate anything that I've learned out of the Bible at all. And like the brother said, you got giants, you got all type of folly in the book of Enoch. Not just the book of Enoch, book of Jasher, all of those have a bunch of different things that, if they're designed, when you actually take a look at them, they're designed to actually pull you off the path. They got enough in it to make you go, I wonder, and then they take you astray. But Yarwar, you have something to say?
Just a few things. One, dealing with the book of Enoch, we can't find the original scroll that says Hasaparium Kanawat, which is literally in Hebrew how you say the book of Enoch. That's one. Two, when you look it up in the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, it says that it was written between, I want to say it was 150 BC and 50 AD. Like 150 BC is when the first one was actually written, and the second part was written like around like 50 AD. Enoch was the seventh from Adam. So it definitely wasn't talking about him. And then on top of that, when you read in the Compact Dictionary, it says that it's one of the biggest sources for Jewish doctrine. So a lot of the people that deal with the Kabbalah and all that stuff, they follow the book of Enoch, and that's also against, like, it goes against the scriptures. Now, when you read about the fallen angels and all of that stuff, we are the fallen angels. We're the angels that fell from our first estate. Because the word angel just means messenger when you really get into it. Like, yeah. So we fell from our original glory when it goes into all of that. But also, as far as giants go, the word giant has multiple meanings within itself. Now, a giant can mean somebody that's big and strong. A giant can mean somebody that was a man of renown. That's also when you go into Genesis 6 and 4, it explains that.
Right. Before you read Genesis 6 and 4, I'm gonna read this for the sister. This is Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. So no matter what, they're gonna add a whole bunch of other. They're gonna try to add a whole bunch of other books to this to substantiate their point, but they're gonna fail. They're not gonna add up to the Bible. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna find consistencies. For lack of better words, you're gonna find consistent consistencies in this doctrine from the book of Enoch. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So when you go to Genesis 6 and 4, and you can also go to Baruch chapter 3 and verse 26. Yeah, I'll read Genesis Baruch 3 and 26, actually. It says, there were the giants famous from the beginning that were of so great stature and so expert in war. So the giants back then were these men of renown. Like, that's like, for instance, LeBron James, he would be considered a giant in the NBA. Like, he's well known. When you think of the NBA now, that's one of the people you think of. But even if you want to read Genesis 6 and 4, it says there were giants in those days in the earth. Slack it. It says there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So that's also going into what the giants were. So when you look at who the sons of God were Adam, Seth, Enoch, Kenan, Mahalil, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, their children, that chosen lineage from the get-go. The daughters of men, it's like the people where Cain got his wife from. Same, or they were one of those other trees that are mentioned when you look in Ezekiel 31, where it starts talking about the different trees that were the different nations that were there in the beginning. So yeah, that's that. Oh, also, now hold on, you also got to take a look at now who was the ruling empire at this time, around 150 BC when this is first getting written. Greeks. Mm-hmm. So what was a common theme amongst the theology of the Greeks? You had gods coming down to sleep with women, with human women. Okay. And they were creating demigods or mighty men like Hercules, Perseus, so on and so forth.
Right.
The Cyclopses and all of that. So they took that and they mixed it and gave you Enoch.
That's right. I don't know. This brother I don't think he quite grasped what we said. It says stature as in height as well as fame. We didn't disagree with you on that. We didn't disagree with you on that. We know for a fact that a giant can be a very tall person. Like there, I forgot the name of the tribe in Africa. but the average height is like 6'5". So to the world, they're giants.
Lucky. Hey, stand next to Shaq and say that man's not a giant. You know what I'm
saying? We're not arguing with that, but we have to understand the full definition of that word. It's also a person of renown. You know what I'm saying? That is something that has to be examined, because even when you go look, and not just renown, but they're devout people too. So at some point, you can even look at Cornelius and say he is a giant. He's a devout man. He's a person of renown. Right? That's just not talking about their side. We get what you're saying. We're not arguing with you about that. We're saying, look, there are multiple definitions of the word giant. And the way we see it, most of these giants that you're looking at in the land, these are renowned people. These are people who either kept the law and the Most High acknowledged them, or they were known in their countries or in their land for something that they did and they were good at. And everybody reverenced them as being good at that. That's what we're saying.
So like the other one, also to the brother's point, I'm not disagreeing with you. It definitely could have said height, and it could have meant that as well. So for that, I got to answer with that. I'm gonna answer that with scripture as well. Go to 2nd Esdras chapter 5 and 51, and we can read on down. It says, he answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? So the men were big. Men were bigger back then. You got to think how much stuff we eating. We eating defiled bread amongst the Gentiles.
God.
At the same time, so a lot of stuff that we're eating and ingesting is polluted. But verse 53 says, and she shall answer thee, that they that be born in the strength of youth are one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. Angel is talking to Ezra. It says, and so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth. So it's like, I even started noticing this, like, when I was in middle school, it was like, dang, the ones that was in 8th grade, brothers that was in 8th grade when I was in 6th grade had full beards and everything. I'm talking about look grown. Looked like they was already supposed to be in high school. Damn, they graduated. And then I looked at the class that came behind us when I was in 8th grade. I'm like, y'all just leaving elementary school. Like y'all looking like y'all just making it to 6th grade. So I mean, we can see that right in front of us. Well, I yield on that.
Sharon Purdy, she got it. Okay, she got it. She understands. All right.
All praise.
There was one on. Okay, yeah, this one.
I was wondering, why is it that the Protestant church rejected the apocrypha? All right, so that kind of started with the Protestant Reformation with Martin Luther. This Edomite decided that I forget fully, but Martin Luther was the reason that the Protestant Reformation, that they actually took out the 14 books known as the apocrypha. Because before then, it was actually illegal for you to have a Bible that didn't have the apocrypha in it. And then later on, it came with another group of people that were called like the Bible Destruction Group that wanted to take parts out of the Bible, and it consisted of white Edomites and some newer like freed slaves or something like that, something along those lines. But they were like Christian apologetics. They were early Christian apologetics. And, but it also has something to do with slavery. in like no, not slavery. When you get into the books of like the apocrypha and how Christmas became a federal holiday, I want to say about 20 years after that, like in 1885, they took out the apocrypha because that was during the time where it was okay for us to read. And had we read something like First Maccabees 4:41 through 59 that talks about the Feast of Dedication, we would have started reading those types of books and realizing, like, hold on, it was okay for the slaves to fight against their oppressors and believe in the Most High. And they actually dedicated a day or a week to all of this. And this is also during the time where they were making Christmas a federal holiday, but they had just made it a federal holiday. So if we had actually read, like, say for instance, the book of Maccabees, we probably wouldn't even kept Christmas. And that was one of the things that they had to do to keep us out of good standing with our God, because Christmas is spoken against when you read Jeremiah 10:2 through 4. So,
you know, and then it's some daggers in their doctrine in there. Of course, there's daggers in, you know, the Old Testament and New Testament as well. But, you know, that's why they don't read it. They gloss over it. You know what I'm saying? The Apocrypha is in the big book. So, like, you can't miss, like, the major things that they put in there, like them painting the scriptures in their image. You know what I'm saying? As well as Second Ezra 6:54 down. You know what I mean? There's a straight point, like, hey, Israelites, these heathens, these other heathens, they don't got nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? Those are strong pieces against their doctrine. You know, and it's just going to make it harder for them. It's easier just to brush it under the rug. You know.
Slack, you want me to? I got it right here. You want me to read that?
Bring it out. Bring it out.
All right.
So before you do that, I just want to acknowledge. Hey, shalom, sire. Shalom, young king. I hope you working on that jump shot. That's Adawan Kano's son. So shalom, king.
Shalom, king.
Shalom.
Go ahead, king.
But now, this is Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54. It says, "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle."
You gotta make the spit sound. You gotta make the spit sound when you do that.
Hey.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
So
that's what. I'm gonna let you.
Hey, it's hard to explain that away. You know what I'm saying? You really don't even need to break that down. It's the message is clear. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier just not to deal with it. You know,
that's right.
Even though it says the same thing in Isaiah 40. You know what I'm saying? But it's not as detailed as it is right here. You know.
Elliot did do a lesson on that. Salaki. Hold on. You also got the prophesying of Christianity and Catholicism coming into play in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14.
Right.
It says, "For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child soon taken away, now honored him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings." So when you understand who Pope Alexander VI is, or Rodrigo Borgia, for those of y'all that played Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That's the same fat white man that you got to kill and his son on the game. Now, these are real men in history. Not for real. That's really before I even came to the truth. That's how I found out who they were.
Me too.
See, it's crazy. They be putting messages in the games too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pope Alexander VI, he had Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and I want to say Raphael DeSanzio and Donatello da Bardi, like paint different images of his son. Yeah, who we get the Ninja Turtles from. He had them paint the image of Christ in the image of his son, right? And then he pushed that same image along with the doctrine of Catholicism as the face of Christianity, basically. And he was real cool with Christopher Columbus. So when Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, that was the image that he came pushing. Now, when you read verse 21 in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, it says, "And this was an occasion to deceive the world for men, serving either calamity or tyranny. They ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name." The water, Edwin. Okay, it says in 1826, the National Bible Society petitioned the Foreign Bible Society not to print the Apocrypha. Now, that is true. However, it didn't fully take effect until 1885 because by then, all of the main Bibles that were being printed definitely didn't have the Apocrypha in it. Like, actually, to this day, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually illegal for you to have a Bible if you're in like Jamaica. Yeah, because of what happened with the Cameroonies. They were reading the book of Maccabees and they were getting inspired, and that was also causing them to rebel against slave masters. Yeah, and they started picking them off. So,
Hey, look. Look. Watch this. Look who showed up. The brother all the way from Ghana decided to show up on the class tonight, man. First
snipe. They came through sniping. Okay. All right. That's exactly why that's exactly one of the reasons they took out. So this is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 9. But I start at verse 7. It says, "So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bear rule, every one in his place, the Diadochi. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth." Now, excellent point this brother brought up about Alexander the Macedonian and his 4 generals. You know, you got Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and I said Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucus, who Antiochus comes from. Right? Now, all of these brothers are Macedonians, and we know what they look like. We know that they were Edomites, and we know that they were Greek. This is another reason that they took the Apocrypha out. Because when you read, it's in the book of Esther, it's in the rest of Esther, chapter 12 and verse 16. And then it's in 16 and 10 as well. Now, if you know about Hamidata and Haman, who were called Agagites, this should be hold on, I'll get it right here. It says, "Howbeit Haman, the son of Amidatus, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mardochus or Mordecai and his people because of the 2 eunuchs of the king." Right? So Haman and Hamedata were the Agagites. If you know who King Agag, they were descendants of King Agag, who was the king of the Amalekites, who Saul was told to get rid of. And he didn't get rid of, he saved the king or whatever. The king ended up reproducing, and his kids ended up coming back to enslave us later on. Now, Amalek is Esau's grandson through Taman, through his son Taman. When you look in the history. But when you read in the book of Esther, chapter 6, in the rest of Esther, chapter 16 and verse 10, it doesn't call them Agagites. Let's see what it calls them. It says, for Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Ammedatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us. So it shows you that the Agagites were also called Macedonians. So we know that the Macedonians were already white people, or so-called white people. And we know that the Agagites are Edomites as well. Then one would make the correlation that Edomites are Macedonians. Know that the Macedonians are white people. So the Edomites must be white people. And then from there, it would all start to click. We would then realize who the Edomites actually are. That's another way that you would actually be able to point that out. Yeah.
Easier not to deal with all that.
Right. Now, check this out. Hey, I just want to let y'all know, yo, SOT is literally a Bible school. Our soldiers are in the chat actually. I actually knocking heads. They really are paying attention. This is how you can tell. You know what I'm saying? You see this one right here? We got Aya going to Baruch 4 and 1. And our soldiers, SOT is not just here to just, we're not just here to just be seen on the camera. We really are trying to teach y'all everything that we're learning. So, pay attention. If you on these calls, you on these lives with us, don't just look at the screen and digest what we're saying. Look at that. Our soldiers are here. They're helping. They're edifying you in the chat as well. They're filling in the gaps that we can't actually say all the time, the things that we miss. Take those notes as well. Looks like, hey, let's see. If we have any more questions, look like you got kind of quiet after that. I think y'all were kind of silent for people.
Hey, brothers.
I'm just a man. I'm just a vessel.
Then he hits you with the humble. He hits you with the humble,
Right. Do we have any other questions? If not, we'll set it down. We had a good lesson, man. We had a good build. Sisters sharing prayer. Yeah, we care. We care. We definitely care about you guys. We had a good build tonight. We learned some things. We were able to talk as men. We were able to talk as regular people about some issues. Let's just make sure that we understand that at this point right now, Israel, it's time to be vigilant. Don't be slacking. It's time to be vigilant. You got to watch what's going on. Digest it. Understand exactly where you are right now and what we're dealing with. We're not living in a time where we can just gloss over things and everything's going to be okay. We're living in a time where we have to look at it, analyze it, prepare ourselves, and then prepare our children. There's an echo. It might be me though. But we have to do that. We have to. All right. This is, as the brother said, the nature of man is not us in this fleshly body is not to follow follow the commandments. Our body does not want to do that. Our body does not want to literally be spiritual. It's a war against your own flesh. Literally. You have to learn to control it. You have to learn to rise above it. We're the people on this planet who are supposed to be a vision, or not a vision, but an example of what godliness is. That's how we are to set an example for the nations. The nations want us to just be on some forgiveness type stuff. That's how we're supposed to set it. To be better than us because you forgive us for everything we did to you. No. I'm going to be better than you because I'm going to keep these commandments and these laws, statutes, and commandments. And when the time comes and I go from being a fisherman to a hunter, you better run from me. Don't stand there and be like, oh, yeah, forgive me. Nope, you better run. If you don't run, I'm going to ask the Most High if I can kill you twice. Off the rip. Hey, can I kill him and revive? I can. Thank you. I'm going to knock you twice. That's where we are right now. That's what we are. That's what we're trying to understand and how we're trying to move forward as vessels for the Most High. We know now's not the time for us to be committing a lot of doing a lot of things that our nation would consider terroristic. We know that's not the time. When Yahweh comes back, then it'll be time for us to do certain things. Then we'll be considered that battle axe. But right now, use humility, use wisdom, be humble. Don't go to work and cut your Edomite boss out talking about I can't wait for your house to come back so I can cut your head off. You ain't gonna have a job anymore.
No, you won't.
Don't think you can go to the store and be like, oh yeah, all this unleavened bread is mine. Why? Because it's mine. You won't be in jail. Don't think you can do that. All right. Use humility. Be humble, man. And when you at home and you dealing with things, I'm dealing with things at home right now. I'm dealing with things in my life right now. When you dealing with those things, find a better path. Don't just try to be. If you a man in your household, don't be a dictator. Don't allow your flesh to come down on you where everybody got to follow me right now. Don't be a dictator. Be an example.
Mm-hmm.
Live holy. Live righteous. And let the people in your household see it. And then they can ask you questions. And then you'll start noticing. They'll start transforming. They'll stop eating pork on their own. You'll notice. You open that refrigerator, ain't no pork bacon in there no more. Damn. It's turkey bacon. It's turkey sauce in the fridge. You'll start noticing those. The nature of man is not to be, like I said, the nature of man is not to be godly, man. And your flesh is not to be godly. But the Most High has already ordained for you to be. He already set you apart. Your job is to learn it, live it, and be that. So if there's no more questions, hold on, I'm looking. I'm checking. Hold on before I say that. There are no more questions. I want to thank the Adonai. I'm going to thank the Adonai for getting on here and bringing this lesson out to us. Much appreciated, and it's very much needed.
Hey, Colin, the water for y'all for bringing it out every week. You know, you brothers be mighty on, you know.
And hey, peace out. You can't get away. We see you. We see what you did to that sister, and we see how y'all are trying to mess us up, and we're not going to stand for it. If there's one place where you can go that's going to say, yo, we see you, Esau, and you ain't shit. SOT is you know what I'm saying? What for the Sons of Thunder? We ain't for the bull. We're going to tell you straight up what it is. Right? But with that, it is our hope, prayer, and desire that Israel may be saved. And as always, have a blessed evening, have a blessed night, and we can't wait to see you next week. Shalom.
This is Thursday Night Thunder!
Shalom, Israel.